What is going on, guys? Alex here, and this is the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2, one of the best and potentially most forgotten phones of 2017. So let's get straight into it. The Mi Mix 2 was made to be the more affordable successor to the original Mi Mix, but with the same attractiveness of its older brother. Built around its 6-inch 18:9 screen, the Mi Mix 2 is much more comfortable in the hand and just looks a hell of a lot nicer than the original Mi Mix. For its price of slightly over $500, it is just about half the price of the iPhone X, and for that price you're getting top-end specs, great battery life, and a brilliant screen. Let's take a deeper look into why I absolutely love this phone. So first and foremost is the unboxing. The included accessories feel really good. You get a nice premium feeling hard case, a headphone dongle sadly, and your standard charging and SIM accessories. Getting your hands onto the phone, it feels like a flagship with its all-glass, ceramic and metal construction, and coming in at about 185 grams and 7.7mm thick, the weight-to-body ratio here really makes it feel like a flagship. The rear panel is built completely off ceramic instead of glass, so not only will this be a bit more durable to scratches, it also means that the phone will look a hell of a lot more sleek. The biggest drawback to having ceramic is that it is a very, very reflective surface, almost like a mirror, and it's very prone to picking up fingerprints, so I definitely recommend using a case. Also, I found that this is quite a slippery phone, so if you place it on an uneven surface without the case on, it will slip off that surface all the time, so I would definitely recommend using the case. Around the back we have the fingerprint scanner, and this is one seriously fast scanner. Literally the instant you touch the scanner, the phone unlocks. It is accurate and super snappy, and the indent for where it is on the back panel is actually decent enough so you can feel where it is. The buttons along the frame of the phone are placed well for either left or right-handed users, but part of me wishes that the volume button was on the left-hand side like you see on an iPhone, on the OnePlus phones, on pretty much most phones these days. As for connectivity, we have a single USB-C port on the bottom, and that is it, so there are no headphone jacks. The removal of the headphone jack is something that will anger a lot of users, and it particularly angered me because I love using wired headphones. It's something that I feel was unnecessary. But of course the main attraction to this phone is its screen, and it really doesn't disappoint. Around the front we have a 6-inch 2:1 or 18:9 aspect ratio LCD with hardware curved corners, so not like we saw on the Umi Crystal, which I reviewed recently. We're looking at a resolution of 2160 by 1080 here, which is a good middle ground for quality of the screen and battery life. But unfortunately it is an LCD, not OLED, which is kind of a disappointment. It would have been nice to see an OLED screen here, but unfortunately that is not the case. We have an LCD instead, and we're looking at an 80% screen to body ratio here. Despite the lack of OLED tech, the screen we have here is absolutely brilliant. Viewing angles are flawless, brightness is good enough to use it in raw daylight, the colours are accurate, but most of all the bezels are absolutely tiny. The chin section of the phone at the bottom is the largest of all the bezels, but it definitely doesn't stand out as much as the Umi Crystal, which I reviewed recently. Inside this chin here we have an LED indicator for when you're charging the phone or notifications come through, and the selfie camera, which if you ask me is kind of on the wrong side. I wish the selfie camera was in the middle instead of on the right hand side over here, because when you hold your phone, if you hold it like that, or even if you hold it with your right hand, eventually some of your hand is going to get into the photo that you're trying to take. It would have been much smarter to place it in the middle. The 5-megapixel photos are clear enough for Snapchat and other social media, and the video quality is 1080p. Just take a quick look. So this is the front camera video quality on the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. You can see here, this is my camera. This is in pretty decent lighting conditions. I wouldn't say it's ideal. It's kind of sunset right now, which is why I'm out here. And you can kind of see that, although the fact that my hand does appear in the video, provided I hold it the right way, this video honestly isn't that bad. The only bad part about video on this phone really is the sound quality, which is kind of disappointing. I found the sound quality just be a little bit too tinny. Around the back we have a 12-megapixel camera unit, which is not the best camera you'll ever see, but it definitely is a good one. The sharpness isn't too high, color accuracy is great, and in general the photos you take with this are awesome. There's no portrait mode available here, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm kind of hoping for something like that in the future with a software update in a similar way with what the Pixel 2 is doing. The video quality from the back camera is 4K, but set to 1080p as stock. A little bit confusing. So this is the back camera video quality from the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. Honestly, not that bad. I can't really see it right now. I'm just looking at a reflection through that little screen over there. Yes, you camera behind the phone. And honestly, I really do like the single 12-megapixel camera we've got on the back here. In terms of specs, we have a Snapdragon 835 CPU with 6GB of RAM and a Adreno 540 GPU. So yeah, pretty good specs there. Anything that you throw at this phone, it can handle flawlessly. From 3D games to more intensive multitasking, this phone can really get it done with no questions asked. The single core score on Geekbench 4 is a score of 1940, and I had a multi-core score of 6668. So on paper it may not seem as fast as the iPhone X, but numbers are numbers and they do not equate to true performance. Comparing the results to those available on the Geekbench 4 website, we've got pretty much the same exact results as the Galaxy Note 8 here. 3D gaming through Asphalt 8 is flawless, multitasking through many different tasks like social media networks, Spotify, having Google Keep open, Having as many things as I want open on this phone, it can do really, really well, and I'm so impressed with this. The ROM that comes stock on the phone is called MIUI or MIUI, which is a pretty heavily skinned version of Android. It kind of reminds me of Samsung's TouchWiz, but it definitely does suit the phone. I've grown to like this OS more and more through my use of it, but personally I was not a fan of the built-in launcher, so I just reinstalled Eevee Launcher and skinned that up with a couple of icon packs, and now it looks a little bit more like stock Android. As there aren't any capacitive touch buttons on the chin section of the phone, which I kind of wish there were, the navigation bar is built into the screen, so it takes up just a little bit of the base. MIUI is either a love it or hate it kind of software. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the stock ROM, so as I just said, I installed the Eevee Launcher, which is honestly a really easy thing to do, and now it just feels like a brilliant experience. It feels like the middle ground between iOS and pure Android, with some really nice additions like the wallpaper carousel built into the lock screen, all the way down to the ability to just turn off the flash by pressing the power button when the screen is off. It's the little details that really make this an enjoyable experience. It feels like a lot of work went into making this a stylish and a user-friendly operating system, and they really didn't fail there. As for the battery life on this phone, it is seriously impressive. Right now it is just about 4 o'clock. I've been using this phone heavily all day and it's on 46%, but through my other testing so far, I'm able to get more than 18 hours of constant use before the phone gets to about 20%. I did at one point flash Lineage OS, which I have to tell you was the most difficult experience I've ever had with flashing something, and with Lineage OS the battery lasted less than half the time, so MIUI really does optimize it well. So in summary, the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 is honestly one of the best phones I've ever used. If you can look past the default launcher being a bit kind of terrible, considering you're paying about half the price of the iPhone 10, you're definitely not getting half the performance of the iPhone 10 or half the standard of a phone. If you're looking for a sleek, stylish and powerful phone which can deal with all of your heavy use and get you through more than 12 hours of battery life, this will definitely not disappoint you. So that is it from me for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.